So as the young ones usually do, this is now our opportunity to do this, that on our social media platforms, wherever you are, whether it's on your Twitter platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or any others that I may not be aware of, please post, tweet about the session that we're having today. And those are the two hashtags to be used: FWC Global Conference 2020 and Reshape the Future Now. Who am I that is speaking with you? My name is Tebello Mokhema. I am the ambassador for Female Wave of Change in South Africa, and I also have the pleasure of being the first among equal for the African continent. In terms of my background, I have over 20 years experience in management consulting in the spaces of human capital and organizational development. I'm also a regional manager for Gimski, which is a technology platform that will be launched globally as of the 1st of October. I have also been wearing the hat of a motivational speaker, and today I'm glad I can add another hat of being an MC of an international event. I'm also a crypto enthusiast because this is where I believe the future is at. And as women, we need to be able to get involved in that future. I've already said in terms of my involvement with Female Wave of Change and representing the continent of Africa in Female Wave of Change. So today we are extremely excited. As you have seen in our posts, if you've been following us on social media, we're extremely excited that today we've got 31 countries from across the whole world that have registered to attend this conference. As of last night, there were a few more other registrations that were coming through. So we may be sitting at 32, 33 registration countries that have been registered. This is a huge kudos for the organizing team and the leadership of the organization to get 31 countries, over 150 women and men saying, we want to spend the afternoon of the 26th of September with you. Thank you to everyone for, in terms of wherever you are coming from and taking the time to be here with us. Somebody asked earlier in terms of language, for this particular conference today, we will be using English as the medium of conversation today. What's it? I'm trying to move the slides and something has just happened. Right. So you have seen, pardon?
Someone else started sharing.
Okay. So you would have seen the program as you received the confirmations for today. But let me just quickly take you through, you know, how the day will be running. We will be welcomed by our leaders in the organization. We will have a keynote speaker from Criselda Kananda. Criselda, welcome. I've seen you looking beautiful and elegant as usual already in the session. And then we have a wonderful and exciting event that we are doing as well today, in that we are launching the Female Wave of Change Storybook, and Mom Yvonne will be taking us through that process. We will then be having a session relating to systemic breathwork that Viola Edwards will also be taking us through. And Viola, welcome. I've also noted you in the session with us today. Later on, we will go through a session where we'll be addressed by some of our leaders from the organization who are really going to be, you know, addressing us as decision makers and global citizens. Because with Female Wave of Change, what we believe is that it does not matter where you originate from. If we're looking in terms of growing and making change in this world, we are all global citizens and we are all global decision makers. That session will be followed by a panel conversation that will take place with also a couple of our leaders, including Tina Thompson, Bonifacio, Jane Anyango, and Renee Cummings. Again, as you can see, the list of the panel members reflects the global reach of this organization. Later in the day, we will ensure that the conversation is not only from ourselves to you, but you're also able to participate with us through participating in the breakout sessions where we'll really be looking at the concept or the idea of implementation of change at different levels of society. I think it's been a key message from us since we had the 2019 conference in Johannesburg, South Africa, that whatever we have a conversation about, one of the key things we need to make sure we get reminded and get to be known of as an organization is that we are implementers. Yes, we talk about the issues, but once we have spoken about them, we go out there and we implement. We will conclude this session this afternoon by being addressed by our board members, who will really be sharing in terms of what we have heard today, looking at the whole concept of how do we reshape the future and accelerate the change together. And we will then be closing the session afterwards. There will be some breaks during the day, and as I host you with the rest of the day, I will indicate the times when we will be having those breaks. Without, so just some guidelines then in terms of this afternoon. Most of you, I think, have been on online platforms, but if it is your first time being on an online meeting or an online event, just some key guidelines to remind you of. So a couple of them are, please ensure that you remain muted during the conference unless you are speaking. When you're speaking with us, try and make eye contact. Let me tell you, it is not easy. You're trying to read, you're trying to do this, you're trying to, listen to so many things, but it's still important, even as we are virtual, to keep that eye contact with each other. Where possible, let's speak clearly and concisely, and especially to the point, because we really don't have a lot of time with each other. So let us use this time effectively. Most of us are mothers, most of us are looking after children, after dogs, after cats. Somebody in the house needs to be looked after. Please tell that person that for this afternoon, this is my time. This is your time to be with us. So please be present, be active in the conversations, and contribute by using the chat box as well as you want to share your messages with us. As much as possible, we would love to see you, and therefore, where possible, please use your camera. If you need to step out of the room, kindly ensure that you have switched off your camera. As most of us have seen, there are some views that we don't want to see that we have seen in other meetings, right? So just ensure that you remain muted if you need to step out, and switching off the camera. When we go into the breakout sessions, if we could just request all of us, again, understanding that we come from different backgrounds, and we come with different experiences and different issues when it comes also to language, and ensuring that we are clear with each other. However, as the change makers and as the people that bring life into this world, we just ask you to please be patient with each other, especially when you are going to be talking in those sessions. The breakout rooms may take longer than expected as we get people in and get people out of those sessions. But more importantly, we want you to enjoy this event with us. We want you to enjoy this time with us. And we want also to enjoy having you in the session with us. So that was really just a few words that I wanted to share with you with regards to the welcome for today. Right, let's move on straight into the session that we'll be having today. If I can just do that, yay, technology and PowerPoint worked today. So now we have this issue. We wanted Ingun Bol, our leader and founder and president of Female Wave of Change, to address us. But the universe had other plans. So as of Wednesday, Ingun has not been having a voice. So we then said, what else can we do? How else can we try and address this? So we bring in two individuals who will be addressing you now. The first individual that will address you will be Katinka Kaandorp-Bol. She is the daughter of Ingun and a successful business owner, but more importantly, she is part of our new leaders in the change that we are working towards for the future. She will also be joined by Renee Van Der Berk, and Renee is our longest, not one of, she's our longest board serving member in Female Wave of Change. Renee is an expert when it comes to human resources management, talent management, and has been a leader, you know, in a number of industries when it comes to the whole concept of capital management, of, you know, human capital management. So Katinka and Renee, may I hand over to you ladies to take us through to the next session. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. I am Katinka Kaandorp-Bol, daughter of Ingun. I am 30 years old and have my own business since I have been 17 years old. I'm not really a study girl. I own my own successful childcare agency and I'm in the middle of taking over another agency right now. I am married to Patrick, who is chronically ill. The results of a healthcare system that starts giving very strong medication to very young children. He's a nurse taking care of the elder generation. He has not missed one day at work since we live in this crazy time with COVID. Together we have a 2-year-old son, Jackson, the most adorable little guy who hopefully will live into the 22nd century. I hope we can give him a good education that is based on who he is as an unique individual, and he can develop up to his full potential that fits him. We are people that love to travel and dream, and we hope to show him all the beautiful places all over the world. So all the places that we as young children also got to see. I hope you will be able to meet people from different cultures to learn from their wisdom. I dream that we can do everything that we need to do to stay healthy, so he does not end up in a healthcare system where we can keep people alive. I hope that when he makes us grandparents, that we will still have a planet to live on, that he and his family live in a society where we respect each other, where we are all equals, no matter the color of our skin, our generation, our age, sexual orientation, or financial situation. It's a society where we can act out of love and not based on money and power. A society where we can live happily ever after. I represent the future generations. We are the ones who will have to live on the world that you will leave us long after you are no longer here. You are only the keepers of the planet that belong to my generation and the generation of my son and his children. I believe it is very important to reshape the future and accelerate positive change together. I hope you have a great day today.
And thank you, Katinka. I can only see where you got your energy and your passion from. And thank you for bringing in your younger generation perspective. Thanks a lot. And I think your mom is very, very proud of you. Congratulations, everyone. You made a great choice to join us today. This means that you agree that we need to create a better world for everyone at all levels of the society all over the world. More conscious, more connected, more sustainable, and a more human world. This also means that you want to commit to reshape the future and that we are all going to accelerate positive change together. This means that you as authentic feminine leader want to step into your leadership. You want to take responsibility to be the change. You're here at the right time, the right place, ready to do the right things. Create a better world for all of us. Build a legacy where Katinka and her children, our future generations, can be proud of. Since the start of Female Wave of Change 3.5 years ago, I was not yet there, but Ingun of course was. Everything has developed very fast. By now we are represented in almost 50 countries. We gathered a fantastic group of wise women in our circle. We've educated a lot of women across the globe to step into their leadership. And of course, we had our very successful first real-life conference last September in South Africa. Many online and offline events to share our knowledge, and then COVID came. We knew that we had to act on it. So everyone is dealing with COVID in their own way. So we've seen health issues, we've experienced lockdowns, we had economic challenges to cope with. And at the same time, it was so fantastic to see our whole team stepping up and sort of come to the realization that this is the moment we need to do something. Yes, there were tears, there was anxiety, there was frustration. However, most of all, there was this awareness that this is our moment to focus on the future, a future with COVID or any other challenge, because there will always be a challenge. So that's actually when Reshape the Future really came to life. And the sense that now more than ever, we have to accelerate that positive change, and we will do it our way, our authentic, feminine way. So over the past 5-6 months, great work has been done by the team, members of our global team. We've inspired each other, we went beyond, we went deeper in Mami Von's words, and we started to define what the challenge is that we are facing. And we also wanted to come with recommendations in terms of Reshape the Future and accelerate this change. And you cannot imagine how grateful we all are with all those things that happened these past months, and that we are so happy and grateful to share today and to take you with us on this journey. So today we're going to build on what's been done the past 5-6 months with the team. We're going to share it. We're going to share what we believe could be solutions for the situation. We'll go into dialogue, as Tebello has explained, with a panel of wise women. We'll have breakout rooms where we can listen to you and hear what you want to do. So how do you think that we can really implement change in your life, in your community, in the world? So with that, we'll be able to already at the end of today present you a blueprint, a roadmap, first draft with all those ideas, actions to reshape the future. And this will be a call of action to all of you, for me, for you, for all of us to embrace. So with that, I want to again wholeheartedly thank you for being here. I wish you a fantastic conference, and let's create waves. Thank you, and over to Tebello.
Katinka and Renee, thank you so much for those messages welcoming us. More importantly, hearing the messages, you know, to us as the elders. Yes, I am an elder as well. From the younger generation saying to us, whatever we need to be doing as we change, let's remember that we are making a newer world for a future generation that will be able to sit back and say, we are so glad that those women, that those females, those change makers were on this planet at one time or another, because through them we can see the meaningful change that has been created. Renee, thank you very much for your continued leadership, continued guidance in the organization to be able to grow and ensure that the impact that we want to see in the world continues to be achieved. Thank you very much, ladies, for that. Ladies, this now gives me great, great pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker for today, Criselda Kananda. Criselda is a mother. SRB, can we have her slide up? Thank you. Thank you so much. As you can see there, Criselda is a mother, a businesswoman, an inspirational speaker and broadcaster. Many of us in South Africa have had the pleasure of listening to her shows when she was still on radio. and listening to the wonderful wisdom that she guided most of us in terms of taking care of our health. Health for ourselves, health for our families, health for our communities, and for the nation. She's somebody that has implemented workplace wellness programs nationally and internationally. Actively involved in the fight for the rights of people who are both HIV positive and negative. She's also an acclaimed, she's acclaimed one of the 10 most influential South African women in 2007 by one of the publications, paper publications in our country, City Press and Rapport. Our former and late President Nelson Mandela referred to Criselda as the light for the world. And I hope when you listen to her, you will understand why he allocated that particular phrase through to her. Criselda, over to you.
Thank you very much, International Program Director Tebello. Thank you for those kind words. Where do I even start? My goodness, this is such an honor and a privilege, and I would urge all of you to just please switch on your video. We are about to just exercise, just do a tiny exercise. Switch on your video, wherever you are, switch on your video. And I would like you to give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug. Tell her, tell him, I love you. Call her by name. I am Criselda. I will say, I love you, Criselda. And if I don't have goosebumps, it means Criselda does not believe me. So get to a point where Criselda begins to believe you when you say, I love you. And that's a goosebumpy moment. And it means you are feeling the words. We often look at other people to give us the love, and we don't give to ourselves the love that we know we deserve. Well, I'm going to hope that I don't get myself out of tune. If you can hear me, please indicate, because I did my notes. I speak for a living, and I recognize that I was only given 15 minutes. So please do indicate if you can hear me, because I just want to reference my notes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you once again. It's a great honor for me to grace this virtual conference center stage, addressing what I regard as a powerhouse that is Female Wave of Change. Allow me to pass my deepest gratitude to the founding members of this Wave of Change community. Founder and President Ingun, thank you for your vision. Global ambassadors, speakers, leaders, decision makers, global citizens, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I was told that a few good men joined us, and thank you for making time to connect to us. I would like to thank you all for committing to making a world a better place than we found it. Congratulations for the continued growth and reach almost 50 countries and still counting. You have to tap yourselves in the back for a job well done. I do believe that women should be at the center of leading change. And this time we meet to reshape the future and accelerate the positive change. And this we do together. I concur with the sentiment that says now more than ever, we need to support a more authentic feminine leadership at all levels in our society. I am confronted, I'm actually comforted by this conference highlighting 5 key areas, namely humanity, education, health, economy, and environment. I'm equally happy that I don't have to present an academic research thesis on these areas, but I'm allowed to share my pearls of wisdom from my experience journey of life. And this is in our quest to reshape the future as we unite in action. I'm afraid that all this effort will lead fruitless results if we do not focus on a huge elephant that is in our midst. All this effort of making the world better will be meaningless if we don't address the scourge of gender-based violence. Allow me to just speak to this issue that is eroding family structures, that is eroding society, that is feeding off the very leadership that we are trying to build on. As we gather here today, 1 in every 3 women globally are affected by gender-based violence. Yep, as you see us today gathering together, 1 in every 3 of us is affected by gender-based violence. Now, I shared last year how I woke up one day believing that I'm happily married to a man who just could not use words to communicate, to connect with disagreement, but rather used a fist. And walking away meant so much. At the time, I did not realize that it had affected me. Gender-based violence, we all know that it is directed to a person's gender, and we often talk about inequalities and so much more. But I'd like to remind us that as leaders, as women, gender-based violence happened to people like you and I. The 1 in 3 is you and I. And in connecting to my personal journey, I was diagnosed with post-trauma disorder, which was triggered by the me syndrome. Why me syndrome? For the first time in years, it was not just about, giving a motivational talk. It was me connecting to real feelings of despondency. And that led me to being admitted in ICU, further diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I relived the nightmares of being a street kid, of being molested as a child, of being a widow at an early age, of testing HIV positive in marriage, going through a spiritual warfare at the time. And at the time, my CD4 count was 0. And I remember my doctor looking at me and thinking, how are you able to even speak right now? Because when your CD4 count is on 0, you have no fighting chance. And I did believe too that I had no fighting chance. And, through mercy and grace, I remembered my inner strength. And that's what I focused on, and that's what I would like to share for us as we bring about a world that is better for generations to come. Where do we even start? And I look at where I've been and where I am now. Many of us, when we are exposed to challenges, we tend to walk away from, try to seek solace from things outside ourselves. And I use these top 10 rules. And I'm hoping that this helps you in whatever challenge you're faced with. And my first rule is just do it. Just do right by you, do right by your society, do right by your community. Just do what feels right for you. I remember when I decided to walk away from my only 2-year-old marriage, voices of what are people going to say, what is society going to say, what are families going to say, what are my friends going to say, those voices were louder than my reality of not wanting to say yes to an abusive environment. And it took me connecting to that inner strength to just make the decision to just do right by me. And the second rule is be courageous. I know that, it does take courage for you to choose your own health, to choose happiness over what other people are going to say, because oftentimes we are driven by the naysayers. And the third rule being do everything out of love. Recognize that you are never alone. It was when I started looking at my circumstances in a loving manner that I realized that living in the streets has led me to having compassion for kids in the streets. Being a widow at such a young age has led me to developing programs that help widows in my community. Testing HIV positive has led me gracing stages internationally. And it was when I began to turn the challenges that I was facing, look at them using the loving eye, that I realized the blessing in the pain. That there are many women who have come before me that have survived, and I do have the strength from within. I use God's strength. I used my ancestors. I used my family, and I take this love that they give to me everywhere, and I use it as my strength to move forward. And I also realized that rule number 4 is to laugh. Laugh your challenges away. And I go back to the moment when my Prince Charming, whom I dearly loved, resorted to abuse as I was trying. I reached out for what I'm with the doom, and that moment for me was the funniest. Are we still together?
Yes.
Okay, I had some voices. I guess someone was connecting. And I laughed out loud now that I reflect. So in whatever situation you're going through, reflect. There will be funny moments that you pick up. Laughter is very infectious. Begin to laugh. And number 5, I realized that I needed to be a blessing to others. Use my story to bless others. And you'll be amazed that when you begin to share, with other people, connect with other people through your pain, how much it really brings light to what would seem doom and gloom at the time for others. And I turned my struggles into triumphs. And you know, looking at a tiny rainbow in my storm, I continue to just be light throughout the world, and that can be you. Oftentimes we focus so much on the challenges that we face by and the pain that we lose sight of the love that surrounds us. So use that struggle, use the mess as a message, because even to Mr. Dudumashe, my ex-husband, I became a blessing for him to never ever abuse any other woman. And it took me recognizing that I'm not okay. I'm not okay with sitting in an abusive environment. Me walking away is not serving either of us. And me walking away, making the decision to walk away, is not only helping him, helping to create a 1 in 3, and you know, I can't be contributing to the 1 in 3 and not be the change that I want to see. And number 7, I actually realized that none of us are born by accident. All of us are here for a certain purpose. Connect to that purpose, connect to your talent, and serve humanity using that purpose and talent, and you'll never work a day in your life. I continue sharing in these spaces, and for me, it's such a humbling honor to connect to women who don't necessarily see light of day and see light through my journey, through my sharing my story. And ladies, my sisters, and a few good men, I urge you and almost beg you to please learn to say no. One of the things that as women we fail dismally at is just saying no. No with yourself, no with your feelings, no with your heart, no to things that don't serve you, no to anything that does not feel right by you. So please, no is not a swear word. No does not make you a bad person. Be able to say no and walk away from things that don't serve you. And number 9, always doing your best. I actually realized that in every challenge that I've gone through, what saved me was the work that I've done in serving humanity, in serving society. In Setsonga, we have a saying that means "Tiro ya bulabula." That means your work will precede you. Your work will speak for you. So let's let our work be the guiding light for how we want to see the world changing. And lastly, and most importantly for me, never ever stop. Keep rising. I mean, I look back, yes, coming from an environment where I was once a street kid, to today feeding street kids, calling a shack a home, to today building homes for people, once being a despondent and very sad widow, to today connecting to hopeless and helpless widows and giving them courage, to once testing HIV positive, to the world's most celebrated grandfather, and that would be the late Nelson Mandela, calling me light for the world to see. And ladies and a few good men, I'd like to say today that you are light for the world to see. Never stop rising, continue shining your light, continue being, continue rising, continue creating a space that says, as women, we are here to be the change that we want to see. And I thank you very much for the opportunity to having shared with you. And I am accessible and available to be part of this female wave of change and global conference. Thank you once again for choosing me to be your keynote address. I hope I spoke to your heart, from my heart to your heart. When we lead with heart, as women, we need to step out of trying to be men in our respective leadership spaces and begin to use that is embedded in us. Leading with heart, and as we lead with heart, we change the environment, and we create a space driven by a feminine touch that is creating. We are creators, we are enablers, we are life-giving. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Enkosi, sis.
Enkosi.
Enkosi.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Wow.
Thank you, Lerato. Thank you very much. Ladies, female change makers, wave makers, we heard the message. For me, I think it's the most powerful part is the part around leading with heart. As we say in Female Wave of Change, we exist because we would like to see more of us as females using our feminine energy to be able to impact and change the world. And where is that feminine energy going to stem from? It's going to stem from our heart. It's going to stem from our gut feeling. It's going to stem from all these messages that we have received. It's going to stem from us standing up from the mess and being the message. Thank you so much, Criselda, for that. Criselda is available on social media platforms. If you would like to follow her, can I do that, Criselda, on your behalf?
Yes, please do go ahead. Yes,
thank you.
Like you said, that let's follow what the young people are doing, and hashtag let's make ourselves trend and get the female wave of change trending for good. We often trend for all the negative that we do towards each other. Let's trend for good and do good for humanity.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. So if you're looking for her, just type in her name as we have it, in the presentation, and you'll be able to find her. Criselda has a number of CDs and books that she's been involved in that are always available, and a lot of people, particularly here in South Africa, listen to them and they give them courage. Thank you very much for being the light in our lives. Somebody was asking in the message if we could receive the transcript of the presentations. As we have indicated, everything that we're doing this afternoon is being recorded and will be loaded on the Female Wave of Change YouTube platform, once we have edited and ensured that it's available. But also as you go to our social media platforms, you'll be able to link with a lot of the women that are here. So just a quick reminder again, if you're close to your phone and can get onto your social media platform, please hashtag FWC Global Conference 2020, and hashtag Reshaping the Future Now. Reshape the Future Now. Thank you very much. Elsa B, may we have the next one? And now that we have been excited, you know, and motivated, and asked to laugh, and asked to enjoy our lives, and enjoy every moment that we have in this life, we are now moving on to the next part of our session, which is a session that is going to be led by one of the most powerful, most authentic women I have ever met in my life. And because of the story, or in line with the story that Criselda has shared, in the last few months, we as Female Wave of Change got to a point where we said, hey, we need to write a number of stories about ourselves, about people that are involved in the organization. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mam Yvonne Busisiwe Kgame. Mam Yvonne is a member of the Circle of Wise Women with Female Wave of Change. She is a teacher, an inspirational speaker, an author, a mentor. She is also the director of YBK Consulting. She's a board member of United Way SA and the chair of the Itemba Educational Trust here in South Africa. Mam Yvonne is one lady that for most of us that have gotten to come to know her, is that when those days are feeling down and you're feeling down and you just need somebody to be able to uplift you, this is the lady that has been able to do that. She doesn't do it only for you as an individual. She has done it for our organization as a whole. She has done it for the global community. So Mam Yvonne, over to you to share with us this wonderful story about the storybook that Female Wave of Change has created.
Wow. Wow, Tebello. Thank you so much to you and team. You are an amazing program director as always. May I also just say, we just on the right path. We've just listened to Ingun's daughter, listened to Criselda, listened to our leaders, and we can feel the energy. We can feel the power of women. We can feel that unity is strength. So today, I am saying to all our participants, welcome to the Wave of Change. Let's ride together. And it is an honor for us to launch our first storybook, Stories Matter. You've just listened to a great story. A story that can take someone from the ghetto to greatness. From illness, from almost a crossroad between life and death, to a powerful woman. And I have to say at this moment, I am so thankful to our visionary leaders, to Ingun, born to the board, to all the Female Wave of Change members who decided that, hey, you know what? I'm going to be courageous. I'm available to be vulnerable. I will go deeper and tell my true story. How's that for authorship and ownership? At this moment, brothers and sisters, daughters and sons, mothers and fathers, here's a question to you. Who owns your story? Who writes your story? And why so? How do they do it? Who do they tell your story to, and where? And where are you? We have just listened to a great testimony that the power of stories lies in the fact that they have the ability to push boundaries. You know what happens when you tell your story? You go deeper and deeper and deeper. You feel the pain, you face the truth, the challenges, you feel the deep-seated wounds, But let me tell you what, as you go deeper, you meet yourself. You get in love with yourself. You become connected to the power you. And not only that, this is what happens. Discover your hidden treasures. You awaken your own power. You know that I am greater than my circumstances. I am greater than my painful history. I have the power within. But here's something. Only me can take ownership and authorship to tell my own story. Here's an invitation to you at this moment. Who are you? Let's hear you. Let those silent voices come. It is for this reason that at this moment I am saying grace and gratitude to each and every soul that took that bold step, that I'm available and I'm telling my story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But not only that, I am rising above that. I'm using my story as a tool to respond, to reorganize, to revive, and to reshape my life, and not only my life, and the lives of others. Let me also take this moment to express our deepest gratitude to Elsa Beam, who said, I'm a woman and I'm ready to give. So I'm going to give my time, my wisdom, my skills, and collate this into a beautiful story. You know why? Because stories matter. So to you, our reader, here is an opportunity. You will meet yourself in some of these stories. You will relate to the challenges that most women have been through, and it doesn't begin now. There's a history around that. And as you do so, you will be inspired to tell your own story, because we all have a story to tell. We are all authors of our own life. So it is for that reason that the female wave of change places emphasis on stories that capture the lives of women, that relate to their challenges. And it is important to use those stories as a tool to rebuild our lives, because we are more than what we've become, and we've got everything that it takes. All we need is just to come together, is to be available. But let me tell you also what you need most: to make mistakes. Take courage to tell your story, whether orally, you can paint, you can do it in poetry, you can do it in art, you can write it, but you need that confidence. You need that courage that we have heard Criselda expressing, so we can meet the real you, your authentic self. So it is with pleasure that as the female wave of change, we would like to celebrate today and launch our book, because stories live on. And I believe that stories are a divine gift. They are a universal right to all of us. We all have the right to write. And not only that, stories never die. So they will live from generation to generation. As we sit here, years to come, centuries to come, there will be people, I don't know whether it will be on a virtual platform or wherever they are, that say, there was a Tebello Mokhema who laid this foundation, who had a story to tell. There was a Criselda Kananda. There was Renee. There was Ingun. So we are reshaping the future now and giving lessons, life-changing experiences, wisdom, love, confidence, and courage to all the women out there, young and old, across generations, across age, across class. In unity, we are saying we have power, so let's tell our stories. And I think at that point, because Tebello knows Mom Yvonne can speak endlessly. It's a floodgate that never stops. So I will pause at this time and say, this is the moment to celebrate, to launch our book. And I'm sure there will be communication about how you connect with us, where to read. But if you really wanting to tap into the power of story, which doesn't only empower, it also heals. Neuroscience have confirmed. So go out there, read our book, engage, connect with other women, and be the change that you would like to see. And I want to tell you, it is done. So let it be.
So let it be. Thank you very much, Mom Yvonne. Our circle, our wise woman, our wise elder, our inspirational elder, you know, who has been working with us. And so with that, there is somebody whose mic is on. Kindly remember to just keep your microphone muted. So with that, ladies, you will see there on the screen, we've got the slide that shows the cover of the book, Stories Matter. And at the end of the session, we will share with everybody the link on which you can be able to find this book. Because of course, with COVID and with technology, what it has done for us is that we can't print these books, we can't be going out and selling them, but we can surely ensure that they are available on a virtual platform. So as I say, we will share the link in terms of where the story is available, and you will be inspired, you will be motivated by the stories of the women of Female Wave of Change and the men of Female Wave of Change that are sharing how they are using their feminine energy. Because remember, the feminine energy is not only with us women, but it's there also with men, how they are using it to be able to change the world. Thank you very much, Ma'am Yvonne. Elsa B, shall we move on to the next one? Right. Thank you very much for that. Now, we have been listening for a while, right? And if there's anything we've learned through the past few months, wherever we are in the world, is that our life is short. Living a healthy and mindful life is even more critical. We've all faced lots of challenges, and time and again, we needed to take a moment or a couple of moments to stop and breathe. It gives me pleasure to welcome Viola Edwards, who will be taking us through some key elements of breathing when everything seems to be coming to you all at once. Viola is a multi-awarded personal and corporate advisor and mentor. She's a transcultural psychotherapist, a breathwork mentoring trainer, and a social entrepreneur. She's a pioneer of wellness and mental health fitness in the workplace since 1993. She's the CEO of co-owner of Grid Academy and Kayana Consulting, co-creator of BQ Breathe Intelligence, and founder of Feminine Capital Forum. She's also authored 2 books, Breathing the Rhythm of Success and What Makes the Bed. She's a board member of several magazines and NGOs. And more importantly for us today is to be able to say, as we move forward and we action, you know, this change that we want to reshape, how do we remember to take a moment and breathe? Viola, over to you.
Thank you so much for this beautiful presentation and for all what you've been doing. I'm so thrilled. 50 country representation in 50 countries, and talking about how is it that better together. And we always talk about if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. So my role here is to start being together. And who is the first person that we have to go to be together with? And this is the self. And Because when we go in doing togetherness, and of course, we're so engaged with the SDG, and I work a lot with the togetherness to achieve the goal, but that togetherness starting with the self and starting with the breath. To be able to acknowledge and be able to be so thankful that while we're still breathing, we are alive, and while we are alive, we have infinite possibilities, as we have heard from the speaker before me. So let's go to an exercise to take you to that being together with the self through your breath. And Ingun and I, we have a surprise for you. So you will receive a gift about breath and what does it mean, the breath intelligent, the BQ that we created early this year. And your team has inspired me to put it together in a presentation and send it to you all as a gift. So please sit. Take a few moments to settle into a comfortable position. I will send you all these exercises in the booklet I will be sending you. For now, just relax as much as you can. As you are sitting in a chair, sit back without any tension, if it's possible, relaxing your neck and shoulder. Uncross your leg and place your hands on your lap with your palm facing upward. Begin with a soft exhale. Letting go of any stress, tension, and worry as much as possible. Do this again. This time, relaxing the back of your neck and shoulders. And even one more time. Again. Find your space in the chair, as comfortable as possible. So now, if you're comfortable with it, please close your eyes and breathe normally without changing or controlling the breath. Simply noticing that you are breathing and feeling the breath in your nostrils. See if you can notice that as you inhale, the air feels cooler in your nostrils, and that as you exhale, it feels a little bit warmer. Still, staying with this natural breathing, shift your attention now to your belly and feel your belly rising and falling as you inhale and exhale. Yes. Mute yourself, please. Yes, very good. Not yourself, the computer. And keep breathing. Try holding your attention on this movement. Rising the belly when you're inhaling and falling as you exhale. Just one breath at a time. This is what we're doing in these times. One breath at a time. If thoughts are flooding in and out of your mind, feeling it busy and distracted, that's perfectly normal. We're multi-potentialite, we're versatile, we do and think so many things at the same time. This is one of the feminine quality. This is one of our capital as feminine capital. Just don't be hard on yourself and push the thought away. Just notice that the thought is and come back to the feeling of the breathing in your belly. As you start to notice the breath, you might notice where you're holding tension in your body. Just feel like you are relaxing those parts. Send the energy of the breath there. And stay with the natural breath. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Sometimes you might notice feeling coming up. Just those feelings coming up, feelings and sentiment, just let them be. Let them come to the surface and go back to the breath. Feel the movement of the breath in your belly is your safe space. It brings a sensation of peace and stillness. Thoughts can come, thoughts can go, but they are not you. Emotions can come, emotions can go, but they are not you. The breath is giving you life, strength, and peace. Now on your own, just practice feeling the breath and practice returning to awareness whenever the mind wanders. Let's do it 2 times more. Beautiful. 1 more time. When you are ready, very slowly, come back and open your eyes. Still keeping the feeling of peace with you and knowing that the feeling is always there, right inside you, and that you can connect to it at any moment through your breath. 1 breath at a time. While there is breath, there is life. And there is life, there are infinite possibilities. Just keep that feeling that you captured. And it is very important to know how's the quality of our breath and how we go into a dysfunctional breathing, because when we go into stress or we go into too much excitement about something, and to know the way or the map back home to that place of kindness, calmness, but at the same time awaken, being awake. The idea of conscious connected breathing, the systemic breathing, is everything inside of us is systemic. Many of the things outside of us is systemic. And if we can connect with our breath, we will be able to connect with the quality of our thought, and we will be able to be much more emotionally efficient. And I think when women have this, and men too, of course, but especially us, because we're so emotional and we're so engaged to do so many things and to serve and to go wide. If we are in connection with that, we have the word for us and we have the whole world to serve. Each piece, each one of us to our own part of the world. Thank you very much for your attention. And thank you. I'm so, so happy to be part of the female wave of change, because this is what it is, a rhythm, a wave. It's not still. We have so much to do, and count on me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Viola, thank you so much. And thank you for reminding us that the change that we want to see is not static. It moves in a wave. Some days it will be high, some days it will be low. Some days it will be loud, some days it will be quiet, as if it is not even in existence. What I love about learning through female wave of change is we find new phrases, right? So today I heard of a new one, a breath quotient. breath intelligence. I knew about emotional intelligence, spiritual and mental intelligence. Today I found out about.
We created. Me and my dearest South African friend, Dr. Ella Manga, we created.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you very much that we are in that space with you.
We've sent it the whole booklet.
Thank you. I also learned another interesting phrase. We are multi-potentialites, right? So there are multifacets and there's many, many potentials that we have. But I think the key thing for me is breath is life, breath is strength, breath is peace. So thank you so much for spending that time with us. Namaste. What I love also about working on a virtual platform, right? Everybody on the call, is that you see all these different backgrounds, right? We've seen Mom Yvonne in the mirror behind her, reflecting her. We've seen the banner of Female Wave of Change behind Renee. We saw the beautiful curtains behind Criselda, and we see this beautiful, natural, calming stone that Viola is sitting in front of. And when I think back to the times when we used to be in corporate spaces, imagine how boring it used to be that you sat in those four walls and you looked at those four walls which were in the office, all the time. But now when we see different environments, it also touches on different parts of our brains because it reminds us that there is more to life. There are more dimensions in this world that we live in. Viola, thank you very, very much for that. One thing I forgot, ladies and gentlemen, to share about after Mom Yvonne completed was that Criselda, you have the opportunity to be the first person to receive our Storybook as our way of saying thank you to you for believing in us. Thank you to you for working with us in these past 2 years and for sharing and for not being afraid to continue to share your story as they inspire us. So we will be arranging with Mom Yvonne and the board of Female Wave of Change to be able to get that first copy through to you. Thank you.